from Colorado's news channel. This is CBS4 This Morning.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We are talking about the Decker fire this morning. It is fuming and growing, sending huge plumes of smoke into the air in southern Colorado.
Yeah, a lot of neighborhoods are still evacuated this morning. We have the latest details coming up on that wildfire. Welcome to CBS4 This Morning. This is a Thursday, 3rd of October. I'm Alan Janae.
And I'm Britt Marino. Good morning to you. Thanks for waking up with us on Colorado's news channel. So we'll start things off here with your Colorado eye-opener. Enjoy.
Great news for drivers this morning along US 36 eastbound at Church Ranch Boulevard. The lanes are officially reopened as of this morning. This is all after months of anticipation.
RTD gets an earful from riders about service problems, and it points to a single issue plaguing the system: a lack of operators.
Really annoyed that I'm paying taxes all these years and I will get no benefit for it. I'll be dead before you get things done into Longmont.
People in 5 subdivisions near Salida are still out of their homes this morning. The Decker fire south of the city has continued to grow, forcing all these people out of harm's way.
Concerns over potential absences by DPS school bus drivers did not materialize yesterday morning, but some students found themselves waiting for buses after classes. In the afternoon, there were a few delays.
Think about where the Avs were 3 years ago, and this team was a disaster. 2 playoff appearances later, the Avs are now seen as Stanley Cup Finals contenders.
We expect to make the playoffs and make a run, try and win the Stanley Cup.
How fast will this go?
Good question.
An Erie family hopes to build the first ever Lamborghini in the state of Colorado. They're using 3D printing technology. They started last February and hope to finish next spring.
A-Basin and Keystone both firing up their snow guns, hoping to be the first resort to open for the season.
And there's always this badge of honor you get to wear if you're the first resort open here in Colorado.
Rights.
Yeah, it's total bragging rights.
Yeah.
And everybody's pretty stoked here, I'm
Well,
sure.
it's 3-way competition now. It used to be just 2 for a long time.
The competition's getting
Going
stiffer.
3. Right. But big news in the roads this morning on 36.
Yes, big news. We've been waiting for this day for months. It feels like, you remember that big sinkhole along US 36 and Church Ranch Boulevard? Well, it is back open this morning. So if you're heading out and heading toward the Denver area, take advantage of the brand new pavement.
2 eastbound lanes open,
2
right?
eastbound
So we
lanes.
still got
back
another
open.
leg of this to go. I guess,
Yeah, and
right?
we're still going to have restrictions in the westbound lanes until tomorrow opening, and then everything's going to open.
Right.
So,
But still, if your commute involves the northwest side of town, it's great news, right?
Yeah, it is.
We're getting
So
it.
what's happening in the weather?
All right, so we're watching areas out east for some frost this morning. It has dropped to near freezing for some of our friends on the eastern plains. Our average first freeze here in Denver comes on the 7th of October, and I think it's going to be after that this year. It could be the 10th of October next week. We'll talk more about that coming up. But here's the frost advisory. Continues until 8 a.m. Notice it does not include Metro Denver. We have some stratus cloud cover on top of us that is keeping temperatures out of the 30s. In fact, here at downtown Denver, we're at 50 at CBS4, thanks in large part to these clouds serving as a blanket, again, keeping temperatures much warmer than they would otherwise be. It's 45 in Boulder, a little cooler up north, but even in Fort Collins and Greeley, we're still in the lower 40s here this morning. By noon, 59, all the cloud cover will clear out by around midday today. Lots of sunshine this afternoon with temperatures near normal for this time of year, high 71. More on your weather coming up. Right now, let's get back over to Andrea. Get a check on your drive.
good morning. We want to get again back out to US 36. This is eastbound on the approach to Church Ranch Boulevard, and all those folks waking up excited to get back on the Boulder Turnpike and the reopened lanes. You can see it right there on the right lane and the right shoulder. Cars just passing by. That's where we had that huge sinkhole for months. So congratulations to everybody. We made it through. Right now, we want to get to the wider look at the Metro map, where we have some overnight construction that is causing some delays along Hamden and Happy Canyon Road in both directions, just off of I-25. So prepare for some slowing. And RTD, we have good news here. E, F, and H lines leaving from the Southmore station back on time following earlier delays.
Okay, that is great news. Thank you so much, Andrea. As we cover Colorado first, it's almost like we need a road victory dance here or something like that. But drivers, of course, have been waiting for months, just like we've been talking about. And today, those eastbound lanes of US 36 are finally back open. And remember that massive collapse in the roadway back in July? Well, crews tried to fix it up with some foam. So we want to take you out live to the scene. We have Mikelia White, who is following this story for us, and she joins us live from US 36 and at Church Ranch Boulevard, where all those lanes have been closed. So, Mac, how is the drive looking there this morning?
Well, traffic seems to be moving along pretty smoothly, and CDOT calls this a huge milestone that says eastbound lanes are reopened as of 5 o'clock this morning, so just a little bit ago. There are 2 general purpose lanes, as we've been talking about all morning. This is all after a major repair to a sinkhole that caused some real significant damage. As you can see, officials say wet clay soil caused a landslide, which caused cracks in the pavement, and it widened to about 300 feet. Now, I checked in with CDOT ahead of the lane opening. They say the big safety point that they want to stress is that while they're opening these eastbound lanes, the traffic configuration will look a little different. That's because the bike path is close to the highway and construction zone. So they're asking motorists, they're asking bicyclists to drive and ride with extra caution. They also say travel is expected to be slower through tomorrow morning because westbound lanes aren't open just yet, and they thank everybody for their patience in this process. For now, we're live along US 36. Michaelia White covering Colorado First.
Hopefully a little bit of relief out there for folks. Thanks, Mac.
Firefighters battling the Decker fire say fire behavior is ramping up. The dangers are great. This is burning south of Salida, and look at those flames. There are mandatory evacuation orders for people living in about a half dozen areas. There are airdrops going on. They're working it on the ground. There is shelter at the Chaffee County Fairgrounds. Tonight, a Type 1 incident management team will head to the burn zone. That is dialing up the protection here. More than 3,700 acres are burned. It is still only 5% contained. Hockey is here tonight. The Avs' Nathan MacKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, Cale Makar, those are names to remember this year as they have a good chance to hoist the cup. And, you know, Britt, good things happen when you go to the dirty areas of the ice.
Okay, you know what? I don't like dirty in the morning, all right, Alan? So we'll talk more about that coming up here. The Avs home opener is tonight at the Pepsi Center. Justin Adams here now, sorting through the hockey lingo along with Alan, and we're all just here along for that ride. Justin, good morning to you. So, of course, we are excited about this season.
Yes, and it's all about getting the puck through the 5 hole as well. Just work on little things like that, Britt. Think about what the Avs were 3 years ago, and this team was a disaster. They hired a rookie head coach just weeks before the season started and had the worst record while scoring the fewest goals. But my, how quickly things have changed. 2 playoff appearances later, and the Avs are now seen as Stanley Cup Finals contenders, and for good reason. The team is stacked with roster all over the talent, or talent all over the roster, rather. And the top line of Nathan MacKinnon, Gabriel Landeskog, and Mikko Rantanen are seen as the best in hockey, and the trio led the team in points, assists, and goals. Now, Rantanen, he has a brand new 6-year deal, and the expectations are that this young man and this young team are going to be holding up the cup at the end of the year.
We're excited to have the group that we have, but at the same time, we haven't done anything. We haven't accomplished anything yet. Now it's time to get to work and start proving people and proving to ourselves that we are the team that we know we can be.
We have a long way to go. I believe in this group. I believe that we have a chance. It's not going to be easy. It never is. But we do. We're confident in this group, and we know the type of characters we have in there. That they have one goal, and that's the win.
Now, the Avs play the Calgary Flames tonight at 7 at the Pepsi Center. Romy Bean, she'll be live from the Pepsi Center at 5 and 6, and Michael Spencer will have all the highlights at 10. Now, at 5:35, we're going to look at Philip Grubauer, and I'm going to tell you why he's the key to the Avs holding up the cup at the end of the year, and it's all about that goaltending.
And we should say that so many fans on Twitter and social media, they are ranting and raving about the fact they can't watch the game on TV right now, so we feel for them, but we will have all the highlights here.
We will have all the highlights at 10. Hopefully everything can get sorted out between Altitude and the 3 big-name cable companies, so hopefully everything down the line will get taken care of. But that's another reason why to watch us. Where else would you want to go? Go and watch us. We'll have it all for you.
You're going to have to look for those highlights. I mean, it's just no game to watch without a deal there. We don't see it coming very quickly.
No, not for a little bit.
Okay. All right. We'll be back to talk about Grubauer between the pipes, Britt. Between the pipes.
I'm going to Google.
Okay.
We got
Soon to be completed Lamborghini replica, maybe the first of its kind built in Colorado, all courtesy of 3D printing. Jacqueline Quinn live this morning. It's hard to believe a good portion of that car was printed in somebody's basement.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, it took about 20 months of 3D printing and tinkering to get it to look like this today. And the family that put this together, they really hope to get this on the road by next spring. And they also want to use this as a vehicle to help educate.
So
Some dream of the day they can take home a Lamborghini. It's one of the most prized luxury sports cars on the planet.
What we would do is jump into a Lamborghini Aventador and we would drive it around.
No, Xander Bacchus isn't a millionaire, not yet anyways, but he and his dad have driven a Lambo in a video game.
One day I said to him, hey, can we build one of those?
Xander's dad, Sterling Bacchus, took that as a challenge, and he happens to be a physicist whose line of work has him working a lot with lasers.
How's that helped you build this car?
Well, it really hasn't helped an enormous amount. What's really helped is when I was a kid, I was a gearhead.
Sterling Bacchus used designs from a scaled model he found through research. That is, a toy model.
These were all individually 3D printed and then glued together.
They then wrap it with carbon fiber and pour epoxy all over it. Since Xander first asked his dad to build this car, it's been about 20 months. They might finish by next spring.
How fast will this go?
Good question.
Using a Corvette engine, the car could clock 200 miles per hour, but it hasn't been decided. What the Bacchuses have decided is to show the car to kids to get them interested in science, math, and engineering.
Okay, you may hate math, you may do not like science, you may not like language arts, you may not even like art, but it all comes together with this one project.
The sky's the limit as to what the family can build. But Xander's pretty sure this car is his.
You got siblings here, you know.
It's my car.
And Xander's just 11, so he's going to have to wait until like when he's 15 to get a learner's permit. But in the meantime, you know, he's looking forward to watching this get on the road and build it with his dad. For now, I'm going to send it back to you guys. Reporting here in Erie, I'm Jacqueline Quinn, covering Colorado First.
Incredible what you can do with that 3D printing. Jacqueline, thanks a lot.
And it has to be half the price tag of a real Lambo, so I'll take one over here.
Yeah.
We'll take you outside this morning and show you a peek here of your Thursday morning, 51 degrees, and there are your city lights. Ashton here now. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. And those city lights are making for quite a white glow on top of Denver. Even though we're about 45 minutes away from sunrise, we have a solid cirrus cloud deck that is in place this morning. These clouds only 2,000–3,000 feet above us. And so the city lights are illuminating the sky, making it appear a little white out there this morning. And these clouds are saving us from temperatures dropping anywhere near freezing. In fact, it is a relatively mild morning for early October. 51 degrees here at CBS4 downtown Denver, benefiting from the clouds in the urban heat island. 46 in Lakewood, 42 in Loveland, and 40 in Greeley. So it is cooler in the Greeley area, but still way above freezing. Different story in Briggsdale. Look at that, 27 degrees, and there is a frost advisory until 8 a.m. on the eastern plains. No frost expected in Metro Denver. We'll get these clouds out of here before lunchtime. Highs today in the lower 70s, and then tomorrow, a 10-degree jump. Lower 80s on the way for your Friday. Looks like a fantastic Friday before we turn cooler again for the weekend. We'll talk more about that coming up. Right now, let's check in with Andrea.
Good morning. We want to get to Copter 4 and take a look at this, our first view of the reopened US 36 eastbound lanes at Church Ranch Boulevard. Copter zooming in now, and look how brand new and nice and shiny it looks. So enjoy that drive as you head toward the Denver area along the Boulder Turnpike. Now, you might not enjoy this. I-225, this is southbound on the approach to Yosemite. We're seeing those delays as you approach that I-25 merge due to a stall in traffic, so seeing some brake lights through that part of town. We had some earlier construction that is causing some delays along Hampton and Happy Canyon just off of I-25, and seeing some delays in both directions there. I want to take you to I-25 though. This is southbound at Thornton Parkway. Crash has been pulled over to the right shoulder. Still seeing a few delays as you head out the door.
Wow, that is a lot of brake lights. Thank you so much, Andrea. And the time now is 6:13. We appreciate you joining us this morning.
Ahead, look at the nice elk, and look at that big bull.
Oh my. Mom. Yes, this happened. A closer look at the charging elk just ahead. We have neon orange and neon yellow this morning. I love this. Sherry Durish showing us what it looks like here at Bear Lake at sunrise. And yes, the leaves are starting to change after we were waiting for a little while. Could be a great weekend for leaf peeping coming up here soon. Time for today's top stories now. A display of grace in a Dallas courtroom yesterday in a family's dark time. The brother of Botham Jean forgives the woman who murdered his brother.
If you truly are sorry, I know I can speak for myself. I forgive you. And I know if you go to God and ask him, he will forgive you. Again, I'm speaking for myself, not even bad for my family. But I love you just like anyone else.
Touching words there. That is 18-year-old Brant Jean. In a touching moment, he later hugged Amber Geiger, the former Dallas police officer who did murder his brother, Botham. A jury sentenced Geiger to 10 years in prison. Today, former U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine, Kurt Volker, will testify on Capitol Hill behind closed doors. Volker stepped down from his position last week. He will be the first witness to testify in the impeachment inquiry into President Trump regarding a whistleblower's complaint. President Trump went on an intense Twitter spree yesterday, saying Adam Schiff, the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, should resign, calling him, quote, a lowlife, and cursing about the Democrats' inquiry.
Let's bring you back to Colorado here, show you some beautiful video. Check this out. This is a mother bear and her two cubs taking a little stroll through Roxborough State Park. Parks and Wildlife posted that video yesterday showing a beautiful fall day. Bears are bulking up for hibernation right now, consuming up to 20,000 calories a day. Pretty busy out there, but every once in a while you just need a little stroll. It's that pretty out.
And it's such a serene picture, but of course the video taken far, far away from those bears.
Give them their room. Here's Ashton right now. Your weather.
Hey, it's going to be a great day for gathering food or whatever you plan to do today. 50 degrees, the temperature right now downtown Denver. We are mild here in town for an early October morning, thanks in large part to this stratus cloud deck that we have on top of us. Clouds only 2,000–3,000 feet above us. Sun will be up just a few minutes before 7 a.m. We'll start with those clouds. They'll clear out by lunchtime. We'll be left with lots of sunshine this afternoon. This time of year, we're normally around 71, but there's really no such thing as normal in the fall because usually we're either way above or way below normal. Monday, we were above it at 76, and then, of course, we had the 25-degree drop or thereabouts on Tuesday with 53. Yesterday, we hit 65 after that chilly start. Today, about 71, and then tomorrow, 81. So up and down here with the temperatures. Satellite imagery showing the cloud deck along the Front Range, but nothing out on the eastern plains. And the clear skies, light winds has meant a very cold morning for northeast Colorado. Frost advisory until 8 a.m. for Fort Morgan, Sterling, Julesburg, Holyoke, Akron, Burlington, Lyman, surrounding areas. Temperatures as low as 32 degrees, and that is where we're at in Yuma. 32 there exactly. Burlington's at 35 versus 48 here in Denver. A little cooler in Greeley. You're at 40 this morning. Look at Brigsdale, 27. So over a very short distance, temperatures drop off very quickly. You get away from those clouds and away from the urban heat island. Temperatures later on will be in the lower 70s. Again, pretty close to normal for this time of year. We'll see 60s for the most part in the higher foothills and into the mountains. And some mountain areas could reach about 70. Frisco, for example, 71. Aspen reaches 75 today. As we look at the wider picture here, a couple different things going on. Storm system south of us, that's not going to bother us much because there's a cold front west of us that's going to push that one out of the way. And as that front moves through, we're going to see the temperatures drop for the weekend. We'll be down into the 60s after the big warm-up tomorrow, 81, down to 68 on Saturday, 66 on Sunday. I do want to bring your attention to next Wednesday night, Andrea, 32 degrees. We could have our first official freeze next Thursday morning. How's the drive?
Drive looking pretty good right now. I want to get to I-25. This is southbound just south of Thornton Parkway, where we had an earlier crash on the approach to 84 that has been moved over to the right shoulder in the exit ramp there, but still seeing some brake lights as folks make their way past that. Taking a look at the drive times, I-25 southbound from Thornton to Denver, speeds are in the 50s. I-270 east and westbound through Commerce City, you're looking at speeds in the 40s with a 7-minute drive in both directions. I-76, we are seeing a bit of slowing as you make your way from Henderson to Denver. Also starting to see some slowing along I-25 southbound as you head into downtown. I-225 southbound, we had an earlier stall blocking the exit to the I-25 merge as you make your way through the tech center. We're still seeing some slow speeds there in the teens, but it looks like it has cleared, so that's some good news. We had overnight construction in the area of Hamden, still causing some delays at Happy Canyon Road. And again, a reminder, US 36 eastbound lanes are reopened following that large sinkhole.
Welcome back to CBS4 on this Thursday morning. Checking your travel forecast on the West Coast. Look out for some rain around Seattle and Portland. Cold front there. That's the same front that'll make its way toward Colorado this weekend. So warmer today and especially tomorrow. We'll be in the lower 80s around here tomorrow and then much cooler for the weekend. Meanwhile, it's been really hot across much of the east. They're going to start cooling down today, but Nashville's still up near 100 degrees. Same thing in Atlanta. Right now, all major airports around the country showing average delays of less than 15 minutes. All right, checking in with Andrea Flores now. We've had a couple of issues, and now we have a crash to talk about.
That's right. We started off the morning pretty quiet, but now things are really starting to ramp up. Copter 4 showing us this crash, I-25 southbound on the approach to 104th. We have the express lane blocked, and at least one regular lane of traffic also blocked. The left lane there. Looks like possibly 3 cars involved in this, and perhaps a motorcycle as well. So we are keeping an eye on this. Expect those delays. Consider Huron or Washington as your alternates if you want to avoid getting stuck in those backups. If you're heading out to the airport, I-70 eastbound, speeds are in the 40s, a little slower. I-225 northbound and inbound Penny Boulevard, you're looking at speeds in the 60s. Security wait times, though, making up for those drive times. Bridge North and South security, all less than 15 minutes.
Good morning. The control room's live. Stand by, Alan and Britt. We're coming out to camera 3. Open rolls in 3, 2, 1. Fade of sound.
From Colorado's news channel, this is CBS4 This Morning.
Hey everybody, happy Thursday, or Friday Eve, as some people like to call it. It is October 3rd. I'm Britt Marino.
I'm Alan Janae. Great to have you with us for CBS4 This Morning. We have a lot going on today. We have visitors in our studios. We have, this is called the Cats program, which makes me wonder why.
Ironically, all the dogs are here to talk about the Cats program and the need for more therapy dogs at DIA. So we'll talk live to them coming up. Firstly, though, let's get a check on the forecast. We have Ashton here. Who let the dogs out, Ashton?
Oh, that's right. Hey, there is a chill in the air. So if you're about to walk the dog and you're on the Eastern Plains, be aware it is chilly. Here in Metro Denver, clouds on top of us combined with the urban heat island means we're not nearly as cold. But out east, a frost advisory continues until 8 a.m. Up in Pete's, not far from the Nebraska line, our weather watcher Wendy up that way, she's reporting 28. So it's a very different day over the far northeastern plains compared to here in the metro area. We're starting the day at 50 here in town. By lunchtime, 59. High temperature today, 71. About 5 degrees warmer today than we were yesterday. And tomorrow we jump into the 80s. We'll talk about your Friday and your weekend in just a moment. Right now, let's get over to Andrea. Get a check on your drive.
Good morning. We want to get to Copter 4, a crash involving a motorcycle, I-25 southbound, the express lanes and a left lane blocked. You can see a lot of activity on the interstate, so you might want to consider getting off and taking Huron or Washington Street to avoid those backups. Average speeds now in the 20s. Your drive from Thornton to Denver from 120th to I-70, now a 22-minute drive, so leave the house with some extra time if you are heading out the door. We also have a couple of other issues. I-70 westbound, a crash reported at Peoria Street, and we have that remaining construction along Hampden and Happy Canyon Road causing a few delays in both directions just off of I-25.
Andrea, thank you very much. Covering Colorado First now, CBS4 This Morning. 3D printing has advanced so much, it's amazing what you can create. They can make custom heart valves, and now they can increase your heartbeat with something like this, a replica of a Lamborghini. Jacqueline Quinn joins us this morning to show us what's going on in Erie. Jacqueline?
Yeah, this is a replica Aventador, and a lot of people have been asking me if I can take this for a drive. Well, I don't really drive manual that well, so you wouldn't want to trust me with that. And also, it's not quite completed, as you can see here. So I want to talk to Sterling Backus, the engineer behind this, and tell me a little bit about, the 3D printing and the things that came together for this to look the way it does today.
Sure. The vehicle has a steel chassis or steel frame to make it safe. But the body panels are what is 3D printed on the car. It's kind of a conglomeration of Chevrolet, Porsche, Lamborghini, Audi. So it's a real Frankenstein kind of car.
And you learned some of these on YouTube, is that right?
That's right. We have a YouTube channel called Laser Sterling if you want to watch the process.
Okay, so it is actually kind of easy. But let me understand something. Does it turn on? I want to see.
Sure.
All right. Let's see. Wow, okay. Vroom, it sounds great, but how fast can this go? Will it go as fast as the Lamborghini?
It might do 200 miles an hour, but we'll have to wait and see, and we're going to have to do it in stages so that we don't injure ourselves.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing this with me. And again, you know, if you're ambitious, you can look at some of the designs here on YouTube. Maybe not a Lamborghini, maybe for something else like a golf cart. But for now, I'm going to send it back to you guys. Reporting live in Erie, I'm Jacqueline Quinn, covering Colorado First.
Yeah, it's just incredible what they can do with 3D printing. Thanks, Jacqueline.
Alrighty, Denver International Airport is going to the dogs. We have some special guests here and their furry friends here to talk about the Volunteer Canine Airport Therapy Squad, or ironically called CATS, the CATS program. So CATS is celebrating its 6th anniversary, and today the airport is looking for even more volunteers. So I want to introduce everybody first. So we have Candy with little Oreo here. We have Ron with the Newfoundland Matilda, who is adorable, and Gretchen with the very handsome Halston the poodle. So Gretchen, I'll start with you. What does a therapy dog do over at the airport?
A therapy dog brings comfort, enjoyment. It allows passengers to relax a little bit and take their mind off of travel.
You know, the airport can be very stressful. A lot of people get anxious flying. Do you really feel like the dogs make a difference with travelers?
Absolutely. I mean, the smiles on the face, the relief of somebody who's traveling for an anxiety-ridden time or for a death of a family member or something, seeing a dog can just release all that tension and bring a smile back to their face.
Thank you, Gretchen. And I'll come over here and talk to Oreo. How old's Oreo?
He'll be 10 in February.
He is a cutie.
Thank you.
I bet he loves being a therapy dog.
He does. He really loves the children, so he goes up where the children are crying and they stop, and life is good.
And life is all gravy.
Yes.
So tell us, what does it take to be a therapy dog?
Well, he needs to go through the Alliance of Therapy Dogs, which is a national organization out of Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Okay.
And so we had to go and have an observer handler see us in a therapeutic session 3 different times and fill out our paperwork. And then after you're certified, then you just do your renewal every year.
Gotcha. Okay. And I know there are over 40 breeds here with the airport already. Hello, Matilda. And I know that over 100 dogs are already in the program, but we need to find more dogs. So, Ron, I'd love to ask you about what you get out of being a therapy dog handler over at the airport.
Well, the airport is an incredibly interesting place. You have the whole gamut of human emotion there. And every time we walk in there, we have travelers that are experiencing each one of those kinds of emotions, and we try and make that time a little happier for them.
Yeah.
And so our dogs, I think, truly make a difference. Some people are going off to meet a first grandchild. Unfortunately, some people are going off before their parent passes.
Yeah.
And in each case, our dogs interact with those people and hopefully make them as a traveler a bit more happy while they're at our airport.
Yeah, there's a gamut of emotions. And I know everybody's wondering, Matilda is 128 pounds, this little bear here. She's adorable. So all pets in the program must be recognized with an animal therapy organization. And also for all the cat lovers out there, I understand there's 1 cat in the program. So cats, the felines, are welcomed as well. I'll put a link up on CBSDenver.com. I think I actually stepped on her tail here, so I'm sorry, Matilda. For more information, CBSDenver.com. We'll send it back to you guys.
Okay, Britt, thanks very much. What a great bunch of dogs right there. We'll be back with the latest on your weather.
Alan, take a live look outside. It's 51 degrees right now in Denver, and we do have a solid stratus deck above us, and these clouds are keeping temperatures much warmer here in the metro area than they would otherwise be. Where I'm standing, the temperature this morning coming in at 51 degrees. Very different out on the eastern plains. Temperatures are much colder. In fact, as low as 32 degrees for some spots on the northeastern plains. So a frost advisory continues until 8 o'clock this morning. Yuma right now, 32 degrees there. It's 33 up in Julesburg, 43 currently in Lyman. So again, much colder the farther to the east you go. Later today, we're going to lose these clouds. We'll have mostly sunny skies this afternoon. Highs in the lower 70s in the Denver metro area. Our normal high temperature on the 3rd of October in Denver, 71. That's exactly where we'll be. That almost never happens, especially this time of year. Meanwhile, 60s and 70s in the mountains. Still really warm in the southeast portion of the country. Cities like Atlanta will approach 100 degrees again today. Clearly, there's a cold front dividing us from them. That's the first of a couple of fronts that we'll experience over the next couple of days. That first front is south of us. Again, that one is heading east. And then there's another front moving out of Washington and Oregon. this morning. That next front will approach us tomorrow and then moves through tomorrow night into Saturday. So we'll turn cooler for the weekend. After lower 70s today and lower 80s tomorrow, we drop back into the 60s for your weekend, but this will be a dry front, so no precipitation expected. In fact, we expect to stay completely dry in Denver probably through the end of next week. 71 today, 81 tomorrow, and then mid to upper 60s for the weekend. Weather looks like it'll cooperate for the Buffs and the Rams, both playing at home in Fort Collins and Boulder this weekend. And then next week, it's going to be Wednesday night into Thursday morning. There's the possibility of our first official freeze in Denver. We'll keep you posted on that. Let's get back inside. Check in with Andrea.
Good morning. We want to get to the roads right now. Copter 4 flying over the section of I-25. This is southbound on the approach to 104th, where we have some slowing there, and that is due to an earlier crash. It's blocking the express lane and the left lane, and because of that, we're seeing those major delays from 120th to I-70. Speeds are in the 20s with a 25-minute drive from Thornton to Denver. You might want to consider taking Huron or Washington Street as your alternates to avoid those big backups. Now, another crash reported along I-70. This is westbound on the approach to Peoria if you're making your way from I-225 toward I-25, so expect those delays there. I-225 southbound from Parker to I-25, some delays as well. Want to zoom in now and show you this. Looks like construction is wrapped up along Hampton and Happy Canyon Road, although we are still seeing some slowing in both directions if you plan on exiting around I-25. And a live look right now at the Tech Center as you make your way from C470 to I-225, seeing a little bit of brake lights as you make your way toward the Tech.
Time now for the Ford Sports Break.
Well, the Broncos are heading to L.A. this week to take on the Chargers. Denver has lost 2 of its last 3 in L.A. As for his more recent history, the Broncos have lost 8 straight, including 4 in a row to start this season. There was a welcome sight at practice yesterday, though. Jawan James back out on the field. He was limited, but it's the first time he's been in practice since his injury back on week 1. Kareem Jackson also out on the field yesterday. He missed Sunday's game with a hamstring injury. As far as their losing streak goes, Broncos are hoping that one win might be the catalyst for a big turnaround.
You know, being in the type of games that we've been in the last few weeks, in the first 4 weeks, when we do come out of this, you're going to look back on this time period and see how much character that it's built in this football team. And I think it's going to pay dividends, you know, once we come out the other side and we do find ourselves in more games like this down the road. It'll help us in winning those.
I like the glass half full approach. We will see if it pays off. Sunday afternoon, 2:05 kickoff right here on CBS4.
That was the Ford Sports Break, powered by the Ford F-150. With best-in-class capability, no wonder Ford F-Series are the best-selling trucks for 42 years. Built better, built stronger, build Ford tough, and only at your local Ford stores.
Well, we're going to see a lot of this view coming up, and take a look at that. It's a still shot, but if you look on the left side of the screen, it's on, folks. Snowmaking.
We got power here, and the race is on to see who opens first this ski season. Ashton Altieri chomping at the bit. I know you're a big snowboarder.
I cannot wait. Whether it's Loveland, A-Basin, Keystone, I'm going to be there. Opening day, I can't wait. Hey, we have lots of cloud cover this morning. These clouds keeping temperatures warmer than they would otherwise be, and that's what's saving us from dropping into the 30s. Richard is over in Lowry, one of our weather watchers right here in the city and county of Denver. He has 49 degrees for a temperature, whereas Jeff in Burlington near the Kansas state line, he has 38. We're concerned about some frost in some areas on the plains. And in the high country, clear skies, light winds means it is a cold morning. Linda in Crested Butte, she checked in with 20 degrees a short time ago. But Mark Russell can almost always count on him to be colder, and he has 14 degrees up in North Park. There's some serious cold for some mountain areas. Let's get over to Andrea now, get a check on your drive.
Good morning. We want to get back out to Copter 4 flying over I-25. This is at 104th, where we still have the express lane and the left lanes blocked. This is a crash involving a motorcycle, so make sure you give yourself extra time from 120th to I-70. Here you can see I've mapped out a couple of alternates. You might want to consider taking Huron or Washington Street instead, because those are really going to be the best options to avoid all of those delays. A new crash reported I-270 eastbound on the approach to York Street, starting to see those backups. Zooming out and taking a wider look, I-76 westbound starting to load up. I-225 north and southbound seeing some delays around Parker, and an existing crash along I-70 westbound in Peoria, still seeing those delays as you make your way toward the Denver area.
Andrea, this is good news this morning. as we cover Colorado First right now. The eastbound overpass of US 36 that fell apart earlier this year is back open this morning. Our wet spring and early summer washed out the earth beneath it back in July, and the road collapsed. Do you remember that? Now, with the use of some pretty unique foam supports, it's open again. McKelly White live there this morning along US 36 at Church Ranch Boulevard to show us. Mac?
Good morning, Alan. Yes, you can see drivers are enjoying these brand new open lanes here. Traffic is moving along smoothly, and CDOT says this is a huge milestone as they have these lanes reopened. Now, the video from the sinkhole back in July, which blocked those lanes, is stunning. Check it out. Officials say wet clay soil caused a landslide, which in turn caused cracks to the pavement. CDOT tried to stabilize the road to reopen it, but the damage got worse and the crack widened to about 300 feet. Now, I checked in with CDOT ahead of the opening, and they also want to remind drivers that express lanes will return to tolling once all lanes are reopened. No tolls were applied during the temporary traffic shift. The full reopening is expected to happen tomorrow, including westbound lanes. And so all drivers know the remaining work on the wall is ongoing. Again, 2 lanes of eastbound US 36 are now reopened as of this morning. For now, we are live along US 36. McKelly White covering Colorado First.
Well, good to see it up and going again. Mac, thanks very much.
Well, upset RTD riders did not hold back their concerns last night at an RTD town hall. Most of the issues revolve around late trains, which points to one issue: a lack of people to operate them. RTD has so many job openings and not enough drivers. In the last 2 weeks, it actually had to cancel more than 200 light rail trips. It's down 50 to 60 light rail operators and needs to hire another 80 bus drivers. Commuters are really the ones feeling the impact.
It's really frustrating. You'd like to think that you could rely on your public transit to get you places on time. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of it being there.
Now, other concerns were raised about the delay to Fast Track's RTD's multi-billion-dollar plan to expand those rail lines.
I'm really annoyed that I'm paying taxes all these years and I will get no benefit for it. I'll be dead before you get things done into Longmont.
People were emotional last night. RTD says last night's phone town hall is one of many opportunities for folks to weigh in. The next one is happening on Monday at 6 o'clock.
All Denver public school buses are expected to be up and running routes as usual this morning after concern about whether bus drivers would call in sick yesterday in protest. Some routes were not covered in the afternoon. DPS says it had problems with 22 out of 850 routes for the ride home. The absences were seen as a sign of protest after Denver District Attorney Beth McCann decided to drop charges against a mother for fighting with a paraprofessional and bus driver. Drivers said they're worried about being protected on the job, and they threatened not to show in protest.
The Avalanche take the ice tonight at the Pepsi Center for their home opening game. That's right, the Avs are back. Now, if you want to see them play, you have to buy a ticket.
Yeah, games are usually aired on Altitude TV, but unless there is a deal today, Altitude is going to be missing from your TV lineup tonight. Altitude's in the midst of a dispute with Comcast, DirecTV, and Dish. They don't want to pay what Altitude,
Right.
It's a pay thing going back and forth here. Ultimately, you, the viewer, is out. You'll have to see the highlights here on CBS4. It's the Avs' first game of the season, and this young team has big expectations.
All righty, so it is more important than ever before to have Justin here joining us now, especially because fans can't watch the game, so they need to know what to know going into this game, and the highlights, of course.
Yes, and the first thing to know is some of the lingo, Britt. So we're going to teach you all the lingo that you need to get you ready to go for the season. As it's mile-high expectations for the Avs this year, and if the team is going to be holding up the cup, then they need Philip Grubauer to pick up right where he left off. And Grubauer, he took over the starting spot late last year and sparked a run for the Avs, helping the team win 8 of their last 11 games and also picking up a playoff spot. Now, Grubauer knows what it takes to win the Stanley Cup. He won it with the Washington Capitals 2 years ago, and Philip used the preseason to work on the little things before the puck drops tonight.
There's not much time to get ready for the season. It was nice for me personally to get 3 games in, and the last one in Dallas helped a lot. Even though we gave up a lot of chances and It was really good to get into the game and get ready for the regular season.
The defense will have several new faces, too. Tyson Berry was traded in the offseason, which means all eyes will be on Samuel Girard, Eric Johnson, and Nikita Zadorov. But Kel McCarr is the guy who's still in all the headlines. Last year, he joined the Avs postseason run and had a goal and 5 assists. Tonight will be his first regular season game, and General Manager Joe Sakic is excited to see all that youth on the ice tonight.
We're fairly young on the back end, but we're pretty excited about those young guys, and we're confident that they can make the next step. So I just think that depth-wise, that since I've been here as a general manager, we haven't had this. So, but that doesn't mean anything. I mean, I feel we're better, but we got to get out on the ice and show it.
The Avs will play the Calgary Flames tonight at 7 at the Pepsi Center. Romy Bean will be live from the stadium at 5 and 6, and Michael Spencer will have all the highlights at 10. And Britt, we have some skates, a stick, a couple of different things for you, a helmet. You just let us know when you're ready to go. We'll get you on ice.
Well, light that lamp up.
There you go. You light the lamp. You tickle the twine.
Yes.
You go 5-hole on a goalie.
Mm-hmm.
Don't start counting.
Okay. Yeah. It's already past my point of understanding. Justin, thank you so much. And you'll be here tomorrow morning, I assume.
I will be here
with the highlights right here on CBS4.
All right. We're going to get you in goalie gear, too, Justin.
That's
right. Getting close to elk in rut could be downright dangerous. An Evergreen woman and her daughter found that out the hard way.
Oh, my.
Mom. Denise Beasley was driving with her 14-year-old daughter, Hannah, who captured the video. And you see here that a large elk harem decided that mom and daughter were too close. So the bull charged the passenger side of the car. And pictures show the puncture holes he put in their bumper. Thankfully, Denise and Hannah and the elk are all okay, but you don't want to mess with them.
Yeah, not this time of the year. When they're in the rut, they are pretty disputatious.
Mm-hmm. It is nearly the weekend. On Thursday, we can say that with confidence, and you can get it started early at the Great American Beer Festival.
Yeah, first of a 3-day-long event celebrating craft beer. You need all 3 days to taste 4,000 different beers and then some, right? 800 breweries around the country here. Breweries compete for gold, silver, and bronze medals for excellence in more than 100 different categories. The Great American Beer Festival is at the Colorado Convention Center through Sunday, and that's a big draw every year.
Mm-hmm. You have to wear the lederhosen and do the whole thing. People get into it. 6:54 now. Ashton is here joining us with our forecast. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, we have a lot of cloud cover on top of us here this morning. And because of that, temperatures are much warmer than they would otherwise be. We have 51 degrees right now downtown Denver, waiting for the sun to come up in just a few more minutes. 6:57 to be exact. So you can see the clouds along the I-25 corridor, but as you move out on the eastern plains, there's a lot less cloud cover. That's why we have a frost advisory until 8 o'clock this morning. It does not include Metro Denver, but it does include all of northeast Colorado. Temperatures as low as 32 degrees. And there have been a few spots that have dropped to 32 or even lower. Yuma right now is at 32 versus our 48 here in Denver. It's 40 in Greeley, mountain areas, clear skies, light winds. It is a cold morning. Gunnison was in the teens earlier. We're at 20 degrees now there in the beautiful Gunnison Valley, and 71 there later today. It's getting to be that time of year where the overnights are really cold in the mountains, but the daytimes highs are usually pretty pleasant. Here along the Front Range, we'll top out right around 71 or so, 5 to 10 degrees warmer than we were yesterday. Speaking of warm, they're going to roast again in the southeast portion of the country. Memphis, Nashville, Atlanta up near 100 degrees today. Cold front between us and them. You can see it right here in Kansas and Oklahoma. Showers and storms along that front. There's a storm system near Midland, Texas this morning. That's going to try to bring some moisture our way. But a cold front moving in from the opposite direction, the Pacific Northwest, is going to prevent any moisture from making its way to Denver. We may get a little bit of rain in the southern portions of the state going into tonight and tomorrow morning, but for the Front Range, we're completely dry for the foreseeable future. Turns cooler behind that front for the weekend. So after 71 today, we climb up to 81 tomorrow, then mid to upper 60s Saturday, Sunday. Next week, I want to bring your attention to Wednesday night and a Thursday morning. That could be our first freeze of the season. Our average first freeze is the 7th of October. Last year it came on the 10th of October. And it looks like this year could be the same thing, maybe the 10th. We'll keep you posted. Andrea, how's the drive?
Right on time, Ashton. Right now we want to get to Copter 4 flying over I-25. This is at 104th where we are seeing those delays, and that is due to some big delays there of a crash I-25 at 104th. Express lane blocked. We know that a motorcycle is involved in this as well. So if you are traveling around this stretch, you might want to consider taking Huron or Washington Washington Street as your alternates. That'll ensure that you get around this big crash altogether. Now, taking a wider look at the Metro map, we have a little bit of slowing I-76 westbound as you approach I-25. I-225 north and southbound loading up in both directions around Parker Road. Also seeing some delays C-470 to I-225 along I-25 northbound, and a little bit of slowing around the Mousetrap as well. A couple of crashes to talk about. I-70 westbound on the approach to Peoria. We still have some delays due to an earlier crash. And I want to show you this. US 36 westbound at Sheridan. Big crash there, causing delays if you are Boulder bound this morning. Now, well, that's the bad news. Some good news in the opposite direction. We have US 36 eastbound at 104th Church Ranch wide open as those eastbound lanes have reopened.
Well, sometimes you just need a little extra helping hand. This young moose got stuck in a pool for hours. This is in New Hampshire. There were no stairs, and the moose didn't quite get the courage to jump out.
Well, wildlife officers did eventually help him. They placed a set of wooden stairs in the pool, and they coaxed him over, and eventually, look here, he figures it out and climbed to the top of his own. You don't like to see an animal struggle ever, but thanks to wildlife officers for helping him out.
Yeah, the moose love the water. They love it here in Colorado.
Yeah,
and all
they
over.
do.
They're kind of aquatic animals.
They got creative. Good for them.
Alrighty, so
Well
New
done.
Hampshire news, but we've seen it here in Colorado as well. Everybody have a great day. Thanks for joining us.
CBS This Morning starts now.